let's dive into these games because there's some interesting ones that we are super excited for, and one of which is this Thursday night matchup with the Green Bay Packers and the Detroit Lions. So this game features two teams that are absolutely just crushing this season, and this is honestly going to be. We've had some really good games on Monday Night Football, on Thursday. This is the most Thursday Night Football games that I feel like actually have been good. Going back to like the last few seasons, like typically Thursday Night Football games are kind of mediocre at best. But this matchup features 11-1 Detroit and 9-3 Green Bay, which I can't wait for. This game is going to be electric. It's going to be happening tomorrow. Now, Detroit, I think this spread changed a little bit. I want to say it's Lions are 3.5 point favorites. So 3.5 for Detroit at home against Green Bay. Over under at 51.5, which that's a decent over under there. But I still think it's possible to get there. But I have a best bet in this game, and it revolves around the Green Bay Packers. I got the Green Bay Packers plus 3.5 in this one. The Packers, I just think that they have a really good chance to come in and get a win here against just cover this spread, keep it close against the Lions team that's just injured everywhere. I think that this point of the season, the Detroit Lions are battling through a ton of injuries, and at a certain point, it's going to catch up. The Detroit Lions are also in a spot where it's fade. We've been trying to figure out what the fade spot is all season long with the Detroit Lions. Like, all right, next week's going to be the fade spot, then you fade them, and then they win. Next week's going to be that fade spot, then you fade them, and then they win. And it's just, I just don't know if it's sustainable. And when you have injured players and you're going up against the Green Bay team that is going to be a lot tougher than anything you faced recently, I think it's going to be an interesting matchup that's going to be a lot closer than people expect. So this game, I have Green Bay plus 3.5. The Lions won by 10 in Green Bay a month ago. But that also, there was a pick six in that one, and the Lions defense is in a much worse spot right now than they were then. Jordan Love has been kind of on and off, but he picked apart a Miami defense most recently. I think he's on the upswing. He's starting to get back into a nice rhythm there. I think Jair Alexander's coming back in this game as well for Green Bay, potentially. So there's a chance that Jared Goff might, be making a mistake against, a potentially really good back secondary. This Green Bay defense is pretty good generally this season. So I like Green Bay in this one to keep it close. I think that overall it's just a spot where I'm jumping on the fade train this last time.
And after this one, if this one doesn't work, are you going to go to therapy or are you going to go to rehab?
I might need to go to rehab on. Well, here I've been betting the Lions have been cashing for me all season long. I've been betting the Lions double-digit favorites even, and they've been covering. And it's just not sustainable. Like, it's just I just don't think it can continue to do that at this clip this late in the season against good teams when you're injured. It's just at some point it's going to catch up with you. And so if it burns me here, then the Lions are a team of destiny at this point.
Yeah. Well, if it burns you, it burns me. I got Packers 3.5 as well. Interesting thing to note here. They both played last Thursday on Thanksgiving, so this counts as a full week for them, even though it's Thursday Night Football. So they should at least be like decently rested, like they would for a normal game. But at the end of the day, you got two great teams in a high stakes divisional matchup. It's going to be close. And again, with the Lions' defense being decimated, you're gonna get plenty of points from the Packers. And I'm not picking them to win outright. Just saying, like with all the trends, at very least the Packers should keep it close, whether they win or not. Just playing with more than a field goal, Packers has to be the right side here.
Yeah, and again, I think the in the second half of that Thanksgiving game, like the Lions defense had no answers for Caleb Williams, Keenan Allen, and DJ Moore. Like they had no answers to figure out how to slow them down. I think Green Bay
The Bears didn't have answers either. No, the Bears found the answers to slow them down.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, if the Lions come into this game healthier than they are, this is a great spot for them. And I think I would definitely love taking the Lions in this matchup. There's two different. It's just hard for me to feel good about taking the Lions at this point, -3.5. So over under total, by the way, I think that's an option over the 51.5.
Yeah.
That one seems like that would be, for me, that's a lean towards the over. Both defenses, again, Packers still have some injuries on defense. Like I said, Jair Alexander still on the fence of coming back this week. But for the last 6 games between these teams, in Detroit produced 51 points or more. Packers are over in 4 of their last 5 divisional road games. Lions are over in 4 of their last 5 divisional home games. So yeah, I think that these trends lean to the over. I think both defenses will be giving up points. You might see an absolute boat race on Thursday Night Football.
Should be a fun one, though. Chris is dying up there. Don't mind him.
I feel like you shouldn't have to hear me blow my nose like every 5 seconds. So if you hear just quiet, that's probably what's happening.
Exactly.
All right. So Green Bay Packers, Detroit Lions. I want to say, I don't think Scotty, let me see if Scotty had this as a best bet. He did not.
He did not.
So yeah, he doesn't have any best bets in this particular game. So, all right, let's move on to the next one. We got
his game.
To his game. We'll have to come back to it once he hops on. Chargers at the Chiefs. Kansas City at home, hosting the Los Angeles Chargers here. The line is now actually 3.5 for the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, these two teams have played close games historically. They're always super close, and no one plays the Kansas City Chiefs better than the Chargers, typically. Over under, by the way, 42.5 in this game. So there's a couple things here that make me feel like the Chiefs. I know 3.5 for a Chargers team that plays close games with the Kansas City Chiefs is typically the way I would lean.
Typically.
This game feels different. Let's talk about the Chargers for a second. Chargers wins on the season. Las Vegas, week 1. Carolina, week 2. The Denver Broncos, week 5. The New Orleans Saints, week 7. Cleveland, 8. Tennessee, 9. Bengals, 10. Atlanta Falcons, that last week. That doesn't sound like a juggernaut schedule for the Chargers. And they've done their job. They play the teams that are in front of them, but they're 8-4. The teams that they've lost to, all winning teams. Well, outside of Arizona. Pittsburgh, KC, Arizona, and Baltimore. So you're normally where I would be like, all right, here's what I would love is to see the Chargers keep this one close and they even win this game outright. I just think that the Chiefs are in a spot where a lot of people, they're hearing a lot of chatter. They're in that race with the Bills for that number 1 seed. They want to keep things rolling. And this is a spot where I'm going Chiefs -3.5 in this one, thinking at home against the Chargers team, they can take care of business. I think the Chiefs defense will slow down the running game of the Los Angeles Chargers. and it's gonna be a tough go. The Chargers aren't exactly super healthy at the moment either. And so, by the way, Chargers defense ninth in yards per play. Chiefs defense second in rushing yards per play. So Chargers, you know what they like to do. They like to run the ball. They're the Ravens West, right? I think the
Yes.
Chiefs are going to be able to slow down that running game and keep this game to a point where all Mahomes needs to do is just play smart, turnover-free football, and they should be able to cover this line.
I mean, you could have said that, like talking about how Mahomes just needs to play smart, turnover-free football. You could have said that about more than half of their games, and they still don't cover. I'm going against you. I'm going Chargers +4. Granted, it's not the one I feel great about, but a lot of these lines this week are actually good.
I
I
mean,
love it
if
as
I
a
could get
teaser.
four, I would get four. I would take Chargers
Yeah.
+4.
So I love this more as a teaser spot, but since we can't do teasers on the office pool, I'll do Chargers +4. It's like the Chiefs, they like even when they do take like a one possession lead, they just take their foot off the gas. They never go for the kill. You got a divisional game, Chargers trying to prove themselves to be superior.
They won't.
Yeah, they won't. Like, yeah, they're trying to be superior. They're going to play it close. Will the Chiefs win? Probably. Are they going to win by more than a field goal? Probably not. It's still possible as long as it's a one possession game, but you said that's why I love the teaser. Like tease this up to 9.5, 10, even though it doesn't go through all the key numbers. But so I would take the Chargers here, knowing that the Chiefs, or knowing that like fading the Chiefs has been a moneymaker all year long.
Which is why I think
Stick with the plan.
when there's a lot of money coming in on the Chargers. KC has extra rest. The Chargers are in a brutal travel spot. Lad McConkey's status, I mean, he's kind of banged up, and they can't move the ball, I don't think, as well without him. He's like their guy, their go-to. Dobbins remains out. It's just the Chargers feel to me like fool's gold, which, we always think fool's gold. But with the strength of schedule that they've played and this spot going to Kansas City, I don't believe that this game is going to stay as close as maybe a lot of people might think. Kansas City, here's the chirping about everybody saying, "Oh, they can't. They're vulnerable. They're not for real. They're winning these games by luck. This and that." I think they're hearing a lot of that chirping, and I think that might play a role here as well.
Yeah, it's always a possibility, but like the chirping's been going on for months now. They don't like they have to quiet down themselves. If they haven't done the past month, I don't see why it happens now. Like if it happens in the playoffs. It doesn't happen in the regular season when they're the 1 seed.
I think this is the Chiefs. In this game, we're going to see the Chiefs that we have been expecting to see up until this point. Joe, what's up, JoJo? Welcome in. Good to have you here. Hopefully you had a great stream. Hopefully you're enjoying the evening. Go follow Joe. Click on the link in the chat. Go follow him. Make sure you guys are joining him each and every single time he goes live. Make sure your notifications are turned on. Welcome in, everybody. Good to have you. All right, so there you go. Kansas City Chiefs and the Chargers. Under 40. What is it at? Under
22
seems
and a half on the graphic.
under 42 and a half. I don't know. Stay away from it. I would lean under, but I don't love it.
Yeah, that's definitely the right side. Can't can't bet it though.
Yeah. If the Chiefs are going to struggle in this one, I think I mean I don't see the Chargers going crazy in this game.
Exactly.
So I think that this game might trend to the under.
It's solid 2017 game where the Chiefs win on fluke magic.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next one. Seahawks at Cardinals. Rec, I'll let you start off in this one. What are your thoughts, Seahawks and Cardinals? What do you like? What do you not like? And right now, currently the line, let me confirm the line as we sit right now. It is sitting at 2.5. The
Two and a
Cardinals,
half.
2.5 point favorites at home against the Seattle Seahawks. Over under set at 44.5.
But they played 2 weeks ago, and the Cardinals off. Actually, neither offense could do anything. They scored a combined 15 points offensively with the big play coming from a pick six from Kyler Murray to make it a 16-6 loss. I mean, when you play each other that quick, the same things usually don't happen. Like, you know what they do. Like, you've seen right up front, there's not a whole lot of time to change a game plan around. So, I mean, if other teams were smart, they should be. Yeah, if other teams are smart, they should be able to figure the other defenses out pretty quick. This should be it should be a much higher scoring game because last time it was a 22-point game. So I would say I would lean the over because of that. Again, this is a big divisional game. Cardinals 1 game back of the Seahawks. If the Seahawks do win this game, the division's all but theirs with 2 game lead with 4 games to go. Seattle gets tiebreakers. So this is a must win for the Cardinals. At 2.5 on either side, I am not ready to bet it. And I would lean Arizona because it's a must win for them. And of course, they have the power of just like the power of no one really believing in them. It's not like, oh, the Cardinals are doing decent. It's why are the Cardinals doing decent? Why are they not in the basement? So that'd be my lean, but I can't pull the trigger.
Yeah, this is one of the more efficient lines on the week. I can't get there on either side. I have no pulse on either side on edge for one team or the other. I think this is right where it needs to be. This strikes me as it could be like a 21-20, I don't know, 21-23 game. I don't know. I mean, this could be right around the mark of like 2.5 where one team just gets the cover. And it's too tough for me. This division is crazy. Everything is a must win in this division because you got Seattle, like I said, 7-5, Cardinals and Rams both tied at 6-6, and then everyone's selling on the San Francisco 49ers. So, interestingly enough, I think the Rams still are positioned in a nice place. I've been high on the Rams ever since they kind of like turned the corner and got healthy this season with Puka and with Cooper Kupp, and they've kind of looked a little bit better in recent weeks. So everything for these two teams is a must win between both of these in this division. Seahawks. I want to say I don't know what I'm getting with the Seahawks from week to week. I just don't.
Nobody know what I'm getting with either team from week to week.
Yeah, the Cardinals 4-1 away from Seattle. It's a tough one. I also too. I think Seattle has a chance to just win this game outright. I just don't. I would take the points in a close game. But sprinkle on the money line a little bit. But outside of that, I would lean Seattle plus the points in this game. I liked it better at 3 when it was Seattle plus 3. Yeah, I just don't have a good feel.
But yeah, if Seattle wins this, the division's all but theirs. Actually, if they win this, they could clinch the division next week.
Could be interesting. And little Kyler Murray here has a lot of uphill battle to try to get through to it. So we'll see. All right, let's move on. We got the Falcons and the Vikings coming up here. This game is going to be a fascinating one. Oh, by the way, let me see if Scott had any best bets.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, one of you two. Oh, for Seattle, Arizona, no, he does not have one. And
no, he does not.
I think one of you two have one for the Falcons game.
Yep, and Falcons Vikings. And
are you riding the ATL lab again?
Scotty's riding the ATL lab, and I don't feel like that's a great move for me. Um, I mean, I think getting points in this one is the right lean. Not my favorite pick, but right now, currently as the odds sit, the Vikings are 5.5 point favorites at home against the Atlanta Falcons. Scotty got this line at 6, so he got an extra half point of value. My struggle with both of these teams is one, this is a revenge game in sorts for Kirk Cousins, right? So you have Kirk Cousins who, I mean, players like to play against their opposing teams and they just pick up the slack, right? They like to
Yeah.
show up for those types of games. But the problem is Kirk Cousins has looked so bad recently. He's looked so bad. Some of the last couple picks in that last game that they played this past week were some of the worst interceptions I've seen. They've been bad. And I just don't know if I could jump on a bandwagon with the Atlanta Falcons knowing that he's just playing such bad football. It's hard for me to back them. Vikings elite at stopping the run, which means Kirk Cousins has to play well in this game. He has to be really, really good for the Atlanta Falcons to cover. And I don't believe right now, if you were to ask me, if you were to say, how comfortable do you feel that Kirk Cousins is not going to throw interceptions in this? And I just don't know if I feel comfortable saying that I have confidence. So Minnesota at home, obviously in Minnesota playing some good football. Minnesota is one of those teams that has a good record, but do we believe that they're good enough to win a Super Bowl? I don't think anyone does. I think Minnesota and Pittsburgh are both in that kind of, they're playing really good football, but no one believes in them. So I just, if I could get it at 6, I would lean Falcons, but I would not feel great about it. And I'm not even touching this game. But I think Scotty likes it a little bit more, knowing that Bijan Robinson's going to get on track. Danger spot for the Vikings facing a team that lost 3 in a row. I think that there's some trends going both ways, but staying away from it.
Dave Close thinks that we're going to get a Kirk masterclass in this game. Kirk Cousins getting revenge against his former team.
Kirk.
I have a best. Do have a bet in this game, but not on the office pool. I have one on my odds shopper. I'll go ahead and leak this one. I am taking Kyle Pitts under 37.5 receiving yards. We're talking about Kirk not being good. Pitts hasn't been good last couple of games. One catch on 5 targets in the last 2 games combined. Keep close, goddamn it, Red. What did I do?
Crushing his dreams.
Hey, behave. Hey, he can still hit Drake London and Bijan and Ray McLeod. He still has options. Kyle Pitts, I'm starting Pitts this week. Oh, well, you're screwed. Have a nice day. Which, yeah, it is a close one. Like, we always talk about the Vikings don't have great talent, but they do have one of the best defensive coordinators in the league in Brian Flores. I mean, I would lean Falcons too, because even with that defense, I still don't know how much I trust that offense with Sam Darnold leading the way. Aaron Jones had a bad week last week, but they still got the job done against Arizona. It's like the Vikings just keep skating on by with wins. But unlike the Chiefs, who are supposed to be good, it's just like, okay, when are the Vikings going to collapse? When's it going to happen? Because a lot of Vikings fans have seen this movie before. It's like it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
And Keep Close is like, here's the thing, it's Kirk. You want to know what Kirk has done in the last 3 games? 0 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 7 sacks taken.
In 3 games?
In 3 games.
Total? Jeez.
0 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and he's just getting sacked. Like Kirk Cousins this is, I mean, you better hope it's a get right spot for Kirk Cousins, because I mean, you better hope he gets this. He takes the bus or whatever it is to the game, because get that fire in his belly, because he's gonna need it. Because he needs a bounce back game, because he hasn't been playing well.
You also need to add that to your soundboard.
I do need to add it to the soundboard for sure. I just, yeah. What's gonna tell me that he's gonna break out of that on the road in Minnesota against a good Minnesota team? I don't know. I don't believe that is something I want to bet on. I'm not betting on Kirk Cousins in this spot.
It makes it. So, like, the Falcons are probably the right side, but like they've been struggling too much to actually warrant a bet on it.
And this is their third road game in 4 weeks. So
did they play at home last week?
They played at home last week against the Chargers, and had a 4 interception, 0 touchdown game from Kirk. So, it just feels like if I'm going to be anywhere on this game, I mean, think about this. What are they paying Kirk right now? What's his what are they pay?
It's like 40 a year.
40 a year for 2 years, or what is it? Is it 2 years? What is
4
it?
4 years.
Oh, 4?
It's 4 years, 180. So it's more like gets 45.
Ooh.
45 million.
It's a lot.
They have an out after like year 2 or year 3.
And I love Kirk Cousins. But we're starting to get to that point. I think we're starting to get to that point.
Now, on that note, you say if you're on that side, the under looks really good at 45.5. You say if you're going to bet anything and you don't have faith in Kirk Cousins, take the under.
I mean, the only problem I have is he going to throw any pick sixes? I know Kirk, I don't think he throws that many, but
yeah, he threw one last week, of course. But
if he does have turnovers in this game and he sets up Minnesota with a short field a few times or a couple times in this game, I mean, you can start getting some points racking up as well. I don't know that
maybe.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird one. All right. Let's go ahead and get to the next game. Bills and Rams.
Scotty's got a best bet here as well.
Scotty's got a best bet here. Let's make sure we have the current lines for everybody watching. The Bills, and this opened, I believe, at 4 or 4.5. I want to say it's 4. But right now, Buffalo in the afternoon game on Sunday, 4.5 point favorites on the road in LA.
So it jumped a point.
It jumped.
As the graphic says 3.5.
It jumped, and it's been all over the place. I think this was started out a little higher, then it got bet down, then it got bet right back up. And I think there's some skepticism in this game on, all right, the Bills just won a big game at home in the snow, and they were snowed in, and now they got to travel all the way to the West Coast for this game, and there's just going to be some challenges with, again, another letdown spot potentially here. Now, a lot of the money, 80% of the money, and 90%, 90% of the money, 80% of the public, all betting Bills in this one. And
and that's why Scotty likes the Rams.
That's why Scotty probably likes the Rams. And some of the simulations lean towards Bills being around a 6-point favorite in this game. I think it's a tough spot. I don't think the Rams will have home field advantage. I think Buffalo Bills fans will really have a grasp of the arena when everything kicks off on Sunday. So that's a nice little advantage for Buffalo. But I think the Rams are good enough offensively to keep this game fairly close. I would lean Rams plus 4.5 if I had a side to it. Obviously, the best bet for Scotty is Rams plus 4.5, but Don't feel great about it. Bills have covered in 6 of the last 7 games, and in their games versus the NFC West this season, they have won 35 to 10, 31 to 10, 34 to 28. Bills have scored 30 plus in 6 straight games and hit that mark 9 times already this season. The Rams are just 5 and 7 against the spread, while Buffalo is 8 and 4, and 2 and 4 at home. Sean McVay 6, 8 and 1 against the spread as a home dog, and just 9, 7 and 1 versus the AFC at home. McDermott 12 and 4 against the spread versus the NFC on the road. A lot of trends that say Bills have a really good chance to, really take advantage and win this game. But you never count out this Sean McVay Rams offense. Puka, Cup. Stafford. It's tough. It's a tough one.
Yeah. Like the Bills, they just can't get too cocky. Yeah, they played a team that sucks in the snow. It's not much of an accomplishment. Of course, they're going to a more controlled environment, which they should fare well in there typically. Yeah, the overall matchup is intriguing. Like trying to think about this, and there's obviously the Bills have the better quarterback, but player-wise, it seems like the Rams have the big edge. But the Bills' coaching has been amazing this year. It's like they lose all this talent, they don't gain anybody, and they're magically an amazing team. They just get all these guys from within, all these backups step up and they start producing. Like on paper, the Rams are the better team outside of quarterback. Okay, this is gonna be a fun match. What's the over under 49.5? No, keep close said to take the under. I can't take anything on. I don't have a lean on either side. This is gonna be a fun game.
I
I guess
think
maybe I take the points for the Rams, but
the
I don't know.
the over under is fairly efficient. I've seen 49s across various metrics saying that this is going to be around that total. So I don't know if I touch the more and more I think about it, the more and more I'm just like, well, if this creeps down to 4, I missed out on an opportunity early in the week to get it at 4. I think I would have taken the Bills at 4. Rams at 4.5. Yeah, it's. I don't know.
Yeah, it should be fun. Should be game of the week material.
Who's scoring besides Josh Allen?
James Cook.
They find ways to win.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the next one here. Pittsburgh.
Let's go.
And the Browns. Let's go ahead. Let's break it down. I'll let you get a first crack at this one. Just as far as the tail of the tape goes, the Pittsburgh Steelers are 6.5 point favorites at home, over under 43.5. So slightly lower than our graphic here. But Pittsburgh, minus 310 on the money line, which is why I tease them. And they're one of my teaser legs. I tease them down to just win the game. All they got to do is just win. So their first half of my teaser leg, I'll reveal the other half here in a minute. But I do think the Steelers get a dub here. The Cleveland Browns coming off a loss to Denver, where Jameis Winston, 2 pick sixes, 6 total touchdowns, including to the other team. And went into the last game saying Jameis hasn't had back-to-back games where he's looked good in a long, long, long time. And that's why I bet the Broncos, which could have been a backdoor cover by the Browns. Didn't quite get there. But this could be a bounce back week. They had a good week before the Denver game. They had a bad week in Denver. And then this is that third. It just zigzags back and forth with Jameis. You never know. But Pittsburgh playing some good D as well. And they're putting up some points. So, Rec, what do you like?
Like I mentioned with the Seahawks game, these two teams faced 2 weeks ago. So, on one hand, they should see similar stuff, but again, they just saw everything, so they should be able to figure out how to beat each other after seeing it firsthand. Of course, this one probably won't be a snow game either, so Steelers shouldn't have any excuses, Pickens. But usually, like this series has been very lopsided. Like Browns have lately dominated at home, Steelers dominate at home as well. In fact, correct me if I'm wrong. The Browns have never beaten the Steelers in Pittsburgh in the regular season. I think that's a true stat. Unless there's something like 2002 with Tommy Maddox. I don't know.
I haven't vetted that stat, but I mean, you know your boys better than anybody, so
Yeah. Yeah, I just know like that was true for the Ben era, and we've still beaten them at home with Kenny Pickett, so should still be true.
so
Yeah.
so you got your boys.
Yeah, I do have the Steelers -6. I was able to get 6 because you know, I mean, even then we talk about Jameis. Jameis didn't have a particularly bad week. It was very like it was a human coin flip. Either you got great Jameis or terrible Jameis, but
That's the
it's still
Jameis Winston
500.
experience, you know?
Yeah, but still 500 yards and 4 touchdowns against the Broncos, who have a good defense. Of course, interceptions are a problem, but with him possibly having like back-to-back quality performances outside the pick sixes, this might be the time where he just stumbles. Even then, like we talk about, like Myles Garrett, of course, last game he did great, but again, when they're in Pittsburgh, Garrett, for whatever reason, Garrett just forgets how to football. Of course, your boy Alex Highsmith is returning to this game. Let's say overall, Steelers are getting very healthy at the right time. We've had a lot of guys coming back over the last few weeks. They're getting healthy, and with the gauntlet, with them being in the middle of that gauntlet, they need every able body they can. You overlooked the Browns 2 weeks ago. You can't do it again. Can't overlook the Browns. I think they have the I think they have the Eagles next week, I believe. So you just gotta go ahead and win this. You don't have a long way to travel next week. Just take it one game at a time, take care of the Browns, and move on.
Pittsburgh trap with them playing the Eagles next. It could be. It could be. I think this game, if you're looking to a Pittsburgh team, which is why, I mean, I think this is a super efficient line. I make the game around
Oh
7.
3, yeah, oh 3, yeah. So it's Tommy Maddox, like I said.
I make the game around 7, so it's only a half point difference here. So in that instance, if you have that look ahead spot, like Joe says, then this is also an AFC North kind of matchup where you never know with some of these games how grind heavy they could be and how low scoring or how interesting they could be, more competitive than you would think. So I mean, that being said, I would lean maybe towards, I would like this number better for the Browns if it was 7, but
Yeah.
at 6.5 I think the Steelers are borderline the right spot. It's just I just don't.
It's always tight.
It always tends to be somewhat tight. Now Steelers are the better team here. So, and Russ has been playing good football. So, yeah. I mean, Russ is 5th in passer rating on the season. So he's playing some good ball. Also, too, on this one, there was another stat I had that I think I might have lost. I think it had to do. I lost it, but Steelers at home as big favorites. I want to say I saw a stat where that's a Tomlin spot to fade.
Yeah. Typically, like Steelers as big favorites are that is a usual thing because we keep mentioning trap games and say what you want about Tomlin. He tends to fall for those traps a lot. I'm hoping with the cameras on him for Hard Knocks, he takes things a little bit more seriously.
Yeah. So, yeah, it'll be this game maybe a little bit closer. What's up? How we doing, Sergeant? Last Browns win in Pittsburgh was 0-3.
Yep, that's what Joe Close mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Tommy Maddox, so it doesn't even count.
Yeah. So, are we going to get crazy Jameis Winston in this one? Yes, we are. Regardless, we're going to get some weird things happening from Jameis, but we're also going to, I think he's such a wild card that I'm staying away from this game. Not one of my bets of the week. All right. So that's all the games that we were going to cover tonight. Let's go ahead and take a look at our best bets, see what Scotty has, and see what I have. So, Scott, on the day, he has the LA Rams plus 4.5. Then he has the Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, he likes living life on the edge. He does.
It's like betting. Betting for Monday Night Football, betting against our Lord and Savior, Super Cooper.
The Cincinnati Bengals currently 5.5-point favorites on the road in Dallas. Now, knowing Dallas has struggled this season, they got Micah Parsons back, right? So that's
overshown.
So that's something that might play a little bit of a factor. But Cincinnati, they haven't given up on the season yet. At least I don't feel like they have. So, but I just don't see Dallas's secondary slowing down the Cincinnati Bengals either. So if you're telling me who's going to win a quarterback battle between these two, if you're telling me, hey, I need Super Cooper to keep up with Joe Burrow in a shootout,
you take it all day. Every day.
I'm not taking the Cowboys. I'll tell you that. I'll take the Cincinnati Bengals with Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow and company to really go crazy. So the Dallas Cowboys are gonna have to put up a ton of points to keep pace, and I just don't know if they're capable of pulling that off. So I can see where Scotty's coming from on this pick. Next up, Atlanta plus 6. We already talked about. And then Carolina plus 12.5.
He's a DJ and keeps betting the Panthers.
He loves
last week.
He loves the Panthers. Now, Panthers visiting the Philadelphia Eagles. Is there a chance the Eagles overlook the Panthers? Maybe. I mean,
Joe Quo says it's a trap game for them, looking ahead to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and I think the Panthers have been playing better ball with Bryce Young. Bryce Young's he's improved. He's been more confident recently. I like the fact that I look at these two teams and the talent discrepancy is crazy. I have multiple models that make this like a 15-point game. So I don't know if I could be on either side of this one. I think, as weird as it sounds, I might lean Eagles, but I wouldn't love it. I'm not betting it this week. I can see why Carolina is the side with the Philadelphia looking ahead, with Bryce Young playing better football, and with the Philadelphia Eagles not playing with their food. They just just playing with their food and just being like, I just want to get a win and get in and out with a backdoor cover with Carolina. Like, this game might be over by the third quarter, but then Carolina has some points in the fourth quarter that are just garbage points. So that's the only thing I worry about in this game. I would love the Eagles side. I just think it's wide open for a backdoor cover.
For you got Miami minus 6.5.
Yes. So my side, I got Miami minus 6.5. This line, let me double check, is the same, which I still love. And I think, let's see, what do I have? 6.5 is still the line here. The New York Jets, they're bad. They're just a bad team. And in Miami at home in this matchup, there's nothing I just don't like about this matchup. I just think they're going to boat race the New York Jets. There's issues with quarterback Aaron Rodgers. He hasn't been good. And even with all the talent around him, he's not making this team better. Jets, 3-10-1 against the spread on the road since 2023. They're not coached well. They've been giving up a shit ton of points since Saleh was fired. They're like 31st in the league in points allowed or defensively since Salah was let go. The Dolphins 6-1-1 against the spread in their last 8 at home versus the New York Jets, covering by 6.6 points on average. 8-2 against the spread in this series in the last 5 years. And Miami has scored at least 24 every time they've faced New York Jets with Tua and averaged 29 points in those games. Jets even struggle to score 20. So Miami, it's the Tua. Tua's back, and he plays. What's this thing? Tua plays well at home, and he plays well at home against bad teams. That's the recipe for Tua. And so Jets, no shot in this one. Miami minus 6.5 feels incredible. Already talked about the Packers. My other teaser leg is Tampa Bay. Teased down along with Pittsburgh. Tampa Bay has a matchup against the Las Vegas Raiders. I think Tampa Bay just wins this game. That's what I'm betting here. They just got to win this game at home against the Las Vegas Raiders team, who is not a good team. So Baker wins, Tua wins, both at home. Win that bet. And then Kansas City minus 3.5. Going out on a limb on this one, knowing that these games are typically close, knowing the Chargers play the Kansas City Chiefs tougher than most other teams in the league. Something tells me Kansas City is they're going to win this game, and they're going to look like the old Kansas City. We'll see. So those are the bets of the week. Rec, do you have any other bets that you want to highlight that we didn't talk about?
Yep. So we talk about this all the time. What happens when a team fires their coach?
Oh, yeah. Bears.
Bears plus 4.5 against the 49ers. They fired Eberflus. The team was practically cheering as he lost the locker room multiple times. This is I forget the dude's name. He was the interim offensive coordinator. Now he's the interim head coach. He's been around the league quite a bit. I want to say it's Thomas Brown. I don't remember exactly, but he's been around. He's still got a good reputation. At the very least, he's not Eberflus, which means that the Bears are going to play much more inspired against the Niners. Niners got annihilated. They lost CMC for the year.
They lost both their running backs.
They lost Jordan Mason. Now, don't get me wrong. Like Isaac Guerrero with an nice system can probably still get solid stats. But again, like there's so many players down. And at this point, like they're probably starting to lose faith, like, especially if the Seahawks win this week. That's going to be a huge blow to. If the Seahawks win, there's no shot of them winning the division. At this point, like give me the team that has a morale boost from firing their head coach, as opposed to a team that just got annihilated in a snow game.
Yeah, I mean, I initially in the week, this line is 3.5, by the way.
You got 4.5. Hell yeah.
So you got an extra point of value. 3.5, which excuse me. It's almost swung to a point where I don't know if I could go 3.5. The value in San Francisco at home against a Bears team that's like kind of maybe has its own challenges here and there. I think you lost the value if you didn't get it earlier in the week, so you got it early in the week, so big ups to you. It's almost to a point, if this gets any lower, or if it stays where it's at, San Francisco might be almost the right side here. Which is why I'm leaving it alone right now. I didn't get on it. But you're right. Any team that fires their head coach, there's always an uptick. The Bears have some talent offensively. They can make some things happen. I think there's going to be a boost in how they approach the game plan and how they get ready for an away game for a change, because Eberflus does not get his teams ready for away games. You might even, an interesting trend that I might sprinkle. Typically with Eberflus, the Bears start out slow in games. I would almost look at the first quarter spread or first half spread and take the Bears on the first half. So like first quarter spread, Bears plus 1.5, first half spread, Bears plus 2.5. I almost think the Bears start out fast in this one because they have that boost of energy coming straight out of the gates, knowing that they have a better coach situation, knowing that they are playing free and like a better situation going into this game. First half spread and first quarter spread for the Bears could be an interesting side. Just keep that in mind. But yeah, the San Francisco 49ers, they're awful now. Brock Purdy, they have to figure that out. They have to figure out, I mean, they have injuries everywhere. CMC's gone, like you said. So I mean, they're at the bottom of this division. I don't see them getting back into the mix. They don't make the playoffs this year, and they're losers of 3 straight. I don't see that turning around. But could they win a close one against the Bears? Maybe, but they're a team that,
even if it's close,
you're selling.
I'll take the plus 4.5. I mean, I bet on this exact bet like 3 weeks ago. The Bears didn't win, but they still covered, and I hit on it.
Yeah. Looking at some of the other games, nothing really stands out.
Yeah. I was saying, like, I was telling you after the stream Sunday night, nearly all the numbers were right where they should be. The only one that I felt good about going in was Chicago because of the history with the coaching.
Yeah. Otherwise, I think all the other lines fairly efficient. So nothing really else to cover there. So there you go. Miami -6, Green Bay plus 3.5, teaser, Tampa Bay, Pittsburgh, and KC -3.5. Scotty, LA Rams plus 4.5, Cincinnati -5, Atlanta plus 6, and Carolina plus 12.5 for Scotty. We'll see how we do.
This is a good week for teasers. Because I would love to take Dolphins teased down, Chargers teased up. You got Bucks and Steelers. There's so many games where I could just where I could tease them around and they would work great.
Yeah, I mean, right now, I think even looking ahead, I was looking ahead at some of the other games you could also get into, like, because they always have the look ahead spots for next week.
Yeah.
Some interesting look ahead spots, by the way. You have the Rams at the 49ers. Rams plus 2.5 on the road in San Francisco. I would tease the shit out of the Rams, knowing that they're gonna that's a great candidate getting ahead of that next week. We have let's see, Cardinals 6.5 point favorites at home against New England. So just to win the game, that could be an interesting one. Detroit and Buffalo moving forward.
That'll be fun.
That one. Detroit 2.5 point favorites at home against the Buffalo Bills. Interesting games on the look aheads.
So I gotta wonder, maybe that makes me lean Rams a little bit more because maybe Buffalo looks ahead a bit.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Also true, but even Buffalo teased up into Detroit, and that could be another one. Rams, Bills, both getting 8.5 against the Lions and the Niners. Don't hate that. All right, so there you go. Just a little look ahead. We never really do that. So, that being said, I'm coughing like crazy. I'm not entertaining at all whatsoever. Scotty didn't even show up. Good. No call, no show. Now he's banned.
Well, now you're banned.
And so we're gonna wrap things up. So that way you guys don't have to listen to me coughing and see me blowing my nose on screen for the entire night. So this was a quick stream. I said it was going to be a quick stream, and we somehow got it to about under an hour and a half.
Insane. You never do that.
We never do this.
You don't do that.
Even when, yes, typically you
don't do this for the power hour.
The power hour goes longer than this, guys. You guys, I mean, I don't know if it's a win. Chris is my MVP. Let's go. Who knew I just needed to trim down our shows to an hour and a half? Who knew? That's what you guys wanted. I'm a man of the people. I give you what you want. So maybe we just do this every week. And we just make it quick, simple, and to the point. But then we also miss on all the good stuff. Real quick, before we get out of here. What do you got, Rick?
I was gonna say, well, we're gonna get Scotty back. He's gonna bitch about the Chiefs, and we're gonna go back to 3-hour shows.
It's true. I mean, we will between your Steelers and his Chiefs. I mean, we didn't have a Broncos on bye week, so I don't have to worry about.
The last 2 shows I kept the Steelers one quick and easy.
Broncos on bye week, so they get rested. I think it's a perfect bye week for the Broncos at this point. Getting healthy, getting into that, getting an extra. Like, can you ask for a better situation? Having an extra week to prepare for one of the biggest games down the stretch with the playoff implications. You got the Colts after the bye week, who are battling for a playoff spot. And I mean,
if you win, you're in.
If we win, we're done. We're good. So I couldn't ask for a better bye week scenario in where things are at as far as the Denver Broncos are concerned. So shout out
for the fact that the Colts are on a bye as well.
Oh yeah, are the Colts on a bye week too?
Yep.
Oh fuck. Okay. Well. Well, there was that, I guess.
Yeah.
But either way, Broncos. You know what's weird? Am I? Oh, I was looking at something. I was like looking at an old picture of like. I thought I saw like a Von Miller in a Broncos jersey on this ESPN set. I was like, ESPN needs to update their shit. So we'll get back to you guys. We'll see if I do the power hour tomorrow, the power rankings for the NBA. We'll see how I'm feeling. Right now, we'll plan on it, but I will let you guys know in the Discord if we end up doing something different based off of how I'm feeling, because no one wants to go through me doing the coughing thing and all that stuff. So we'll keep you posted on that for tomorrow's show, and then I will guaranteed be back strong, ready to go Sunday. So Sunday Night Football, we will have a really good game. We'll have Scotty and the Chiefs going against the Chargers, which will be, I think, a really fun game. It's always fun, and Scotty's going to get fired up. So you do not want to miss that game.